to welcome you all to our something unusual for our practicum this semester. Is we're going to have some training in some online internet marketing and sales, where you as teammates, colleagues, can create your own website and market your product, and hopefully we'll be doing some sales about your product. We all will be going back to our regular professors' classrooms on Thursday, but for the next 4 Tuesdays, we will be coming on to this session and learning about our internet activities. Again, my name is Professor Rick Hassey. My class is here, I can see, but some of you do not know who I am. I'm a professor here at the university, just along with Mr. Mark Hicks and Mr. Frank Fiallo. Also here from the small business area of the University of Laverne is Mr. Sean Snyder, Miss Sophia, excuse me, Sophia, if I pronounce it, Anderson, is that it, Sophia? And Joshua Botello. They're all here representing people who are helping you put this together this beginning of our fall semester. So welcome all to the University of Laverne. Welcome all to my teams. Welcome all to Professor Hicks and Professor Fiallo's teams. Let's get to work. And so I want to pass this over to Professor Hicks, please.
Okay, welcome everybody. We're excited about this program. It's been a while since we've been able to coordinate it with all of our groups and everybody's on the same page using a commerce website, okay? It's been my feeling that we've needed to do this for a long time, and this semester you have the ability to do that. So use this tool wisely, and especially during a period of time where we can't get together, we can't go to events, you should be able to build up a website that generates a lot of interest. So Rick mentioned having yourself on mute. We'd like to have the cameras on so we can see you guys and talk to you, or when we talk to you, we kind of put a name with a face at this point. Sean is going to be speaking. Please have respect for our visiting professor, and let's pay attention. Let's sit up. Let's dress appropriately. You know, no robes, no half-naked stuff. You know, let's try to be as professional as we can, and be respectful. Okay, be respectful of everybody in the group here. Nobody knows everything in this group. Some people know more than others, but if some people have questions or they're trying to come along, especially in your small groups, you know, help them, work with them, help them to be as knowledgeable on this platform as they can, because our goal is to have everybody working in the site. All right, if you have a position, there's something for you to do in that website, you should be doing it. We're talking about shipping and receiving. We're talking about finance. We're talking about obviously sales and marketing and stuff. So we want this to be everybody involved, so everybody needs to pay attention, everybody needs to learn, right? All right, the reason we're doing this is because of COVID. We're introducing the online sales. We want you to get familiar with this platform with Wix, okay? This company has donated these websites to you guys to use. So you actually have them for free for the semester. So that's a big deal. Wix is a great website, easy to work with. You're going to know it on the front end. You're going to know it on the back end by the time that you finish this. And everyone will be, again, involved in the site itself. So important for you to learn this, important for you to have this knowledge. And that's why we're doing the 4 sessions. I work at the SBDC when I'm not working at the university teaching. And my boss is Sean Snyder. And he is very knowledgeable about websites, very knowledgeable about social media marketing. And when somebody comes in, whether they're a plumber or a dentist, we tend to move them towards social media marketing and we see the results in their business, and we see their pipeline fill, and we see these things happening. And these things happen with Sean working with these people, and they happen with Josh and Sophia doing a lot of, they do their own marketing and bring people in and have various ways of generating interest. And you guys need to understand that this is a whole campaign that you'll be running. And in this campaign, you have to do a lot of different moving parts in order to get people interested, reacting, and then at some point buying into the website and actually clicking on and buying a product. Okay, so with that, Sean is going to help us out here. You will enjoy working with him. He's full of energy. He is really smart with this stuff. So with that, I will turn it over to him.
Well, thank you, Mark, and good afternoon, everyone. I hope to meet the bar. The mark is set. We'll find out. You'll be the judge. Tony and Ben, I just made you both co-hosts because I know that you're helping out with this group. And essentially what we want to do today is we want to do three things. One, I want to go over how to basically build a website in Wix, which is very straightforward. Probably many of you have built websites before, but I'm guessing there's a varying degree of web development experience out there. But whether it's Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, Square, you name it, all the platforms work a little bit differently, but essentially do the same thing. So first things first, we're going to go over kind of like how to do that. Second, we are going to then break out into groups, which is why we had you pre-assign or pre-register for this event, so that you can get together with your individual groups and do what we're going to review. And then the third thing is we're going to get back together here in the general session room, if you will, and we're going to talk about next steps, because kind of broken this down into a phased process. Mark and I went through this last year with Shui. I don't think she's on, but she is awesome. So if you're working with Shui, you're in good hands. But we did it with like 2 groups. Obviously, we're going to run into stumbles and challenges. Nobody knows everything about web development and all the different integrations. I mean, it's the wild, wild west. If you've been doing this for a while, like I'm sure some of you have, selling on Instagram, Facebook, websites, it's pretty crazy, can be easy, but you can also, we can learn from each other. I think that's all I'm trying to get at. So if you will, let me go ahead and get this show on the road. I'm gonna share my screen. And this is kind of where we're at today. We got meeting one, getting set up in the basics. So we're gonna go over, a couple things, pretty straightforward, but then we're gonna have some homework we're gonna come back to. So we're gonna start out at wix.com, which is the website that we're gonna be using through the course of this. Very powerful. What I like most about it in comparison to some of the others is I'd say user friendliness of the interface to edit, because we're going to go over both the front end of the website as well as the back end. So you're going to go to wix.com in our breakout rooms. I'm going to go over everything I want you to do in the breakout room. So, and we're going to have people all the professors are going to be working through the breakout rooms to help answer questions. But step 1, go to wix.com. If you haven't used Wix before, I think in each group, there should be probably one person associated with who's going to be running the website. Let's say the owner of the website. Is that a good, fair assessment, Rick or
Yeah.
Mark? Okay. So when you go to the room, basically that person, whoever you are in each group, will share their screen and essentially go to wix.com. And I want you to work through this as a group and go through what I'm about to show you. So if you're new, click Get Started. If you already have an account like I do, you're going to go up here and sign in. So once you log in, and all it takes is an email address and a password, like anything these days, you won't be met with this screen. Rather, you're going to be met with a screen that looks like this if you're new to Wix, which is kind of like a wizard. What kind of website do we want to create? Well, we're trying to make sales, right? We want an online store. So go ahead and select that. And the first crossroads you're going to meet is this ADI, or Artificial Design Intelligence tool, or this Wix editor. It says basically which way do you want to go. I'm going to show you really quick both ways so you can kind of make the decision as a group, because this is on you guys. I don't want to prescribe anything for you. I want to give you the options. So I prefer the Wix website editor, and I'll show you why. But if you choose the ADI design, it's like an AI tool. It's going to say, okay, what kind of business are you looking to start? I'm a big skateboarder, or used to be, I should say. So let's go skate shop. It's going to walk us through a little bit of a wizard. It's going to ask us, okay, what kind of functionality we want with our site, because, well, there's different apps that come baked into each kind of template or theme. We want to be able to chat with our customers. Yeah, sure. We want to blog. We aren't doing any bookings because we're not like a hairstylist or consultant, but you can kind of look through these. Yeah, we want to subscribe form because we want to do some email marketing. Pick the ones that apply to you. Don't feel like you have to know them all because we can always add them in later. Click next. The name of your store. So I'm going to go with Sally's Skate Shop. My favorite. I use this as an example often. If you've seen any of our YouTube channels at the University of Laverne SBDC, like, follow, comment, all that good jazz. If you have an existing website, you can plug it in here, and basically what this AI tool is going to grab that text, the images, and try to work it in. I don't have anything. You could add a logo if you wanted to, and it essentially will come up with a color palette that tries to match your logo. Not the best, but it's pretty good. We don't have any social media links, but that's one of the things that's probably going to be on the to-do item, right? For somebody in the group, let's go set up these pages or social media outlets that we plan to market through. Next, lastly, it's probably going to ask you what kind of theme do you want? So they only give you 6 here. They have tons to choose from once we get through the wizard, but don't feel like if you pick one, you can't change. So that's the real big thing I wanted to share with you. And then it's going to kind of say, all right, based on what you said, based on some of our templates, which of these do you like? Even if you hate them all, doesn't matter. You can always customize them. But let's see here. Sure, I'll go with this one. Now we've created basically what I refer to as a dummy website or dummy content. It's a website that has a bunch of pictures on it, text that says like, I'm a paragraph. This is where you and your team are going to be going in and editing that information. So I wanted to share the biggest difference between the 2 different options. Remember that fork at the road? This is it. It's the editor interface. So this ADI tries to really make it like websites for dummies. Not to say I still like it. Not to say you're a dummy if you choose this one, but it's got this fly-in window that comes in on the side. So if we click on an image, it really kind of limits us in terms of our editing capability, but it does give us some pretty cool design options that we can go through and quickly change. I really like this option because it's got global themes. So if you change the font, you change the colors, it changes it throughout the site rather than page by page. So there's some pros and cons. These are the types of things I wanted to share with you. But like any software, when you get into it, you've got some buttons up here, publish, preview. We're going to upgrade them after you get your content going. As Mark and Rick mentioned, we got some donations from Wix.com to allow us to do this for free. So big shout out to them, to OHOD specifically. But pretty much that's the editor. Now I want to take you back through in the fork in the road, and I want to go right because I want you guys to decide which one you want to do. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit create site. Again, I'm going to hit online store. This time I'm going to go editor. And the editor will give you basically a bunch of different categories of types of themes, or often referred to as templates. This dummy content that we're going to go in and replace with our message, our text, our pictures. And so I like this, and I'll go again, skate shop. So again, not much like a skate shop, but there are different categories. I like this one. So you could view it, or you could just jump right into it and click edit. And so it bypasses all that question and answer, which, I mean, depending on which one you like better, you go for it and talk amongst yourselves as a group. But this is now the same Wix website, but just in an editor, a different kind of editor. So I can click and I can drag this. I have full control over where this goes. Just like Microsoft Word, I accidentally, let's say I accidentally delete this. I don't know, it's a Control Z, or up here in the top right, you got redo, undo. So you can basically break it and then fix it. But It has little lines that kind of align things. And I want to just kind of go over the navigation because this is the front end. There's two sides to this website. There's the front end editor and then there's the back end. And sometimes you can kind of do stuff on both sides. And I'm going to just kind of illustrate by adding a product in a minute. But in this case, let's say this is a video. Let's see, I have to save it, give it a name, just call it my site, save and continue. Okay. And then now I'm going to publish it. So just like Facebook or, Instagram, they give you like a, facebook.com/your name, you get your own domain name, but we're going to add with this coupon code that Wix is giving us, we can also get an actual domain name like sallyskateshop.com. So that will be coming. So one of your homework items is going to be to think about what you want your domain name to be, and hopefully an alignment and descriptor of your product or service perhaps. But I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And okay, I did that. You get a lot of pop-ups and they open up in a million tabs. So, but if we preview, okay, let's take a look at this. So we got land on the page, we got nice movement, some parallax going on, nice little collection of what we're selling, some skateboards, a little paragraph says about us. I kind of like that fly-in, that's pretty cool, but pretty basic stuff. And so you guys are going to have no problem at all in editing this. But if I go back to editor, and let's say I don't like this video, I can click on it. And you can click on things and see what kind of options you get, because this is really where you learn how to the editor can and can't do. But if I want to change the background, I can. What I like about Wix is it has a lot of stock videos and pictures that you don't have to pay for. They do integrate with Shutterstock, but like Unsplash and Pixabay, you can find videos and things like that that will help you put the content together. So let me just see here: skateboard. I don't know. Just as an example, as quick and easy as it is to change the background, this is why I kind of like this editor. Like, all right, I like it, publish it, or actually technically you should preview it, then you publish it. So I'm cowboy coding, as they say in the industry. And so right now it's not playing. I have to save it. Back to editor. Let's do it again. Come on, wake up. There you go. Okay, we got a video kind of going. What I would say more importantly than anything is less is more when it comes to marketing. There is so much here. I mean, you all heard that saying, there's an app for that, right? Well, just like a smartphone, when you buy your phone, whether you have an Apple or an Android, it kind of comes with pre-installed apps, right? Well, same thing for a website. When you pick a platform, Wix, Shopify, Square, they come with certain functionality kind of built in, and then you can add to it from there. And you can kind of get lost, I'm gonna be honest. So just keep that in mind. Less is more. Keeping a clear call to action right on the homepage. You want people to land on the page and immediately know that they're A, in the right spot, and B, what to do. So being in the right spot, they were talking about branding, logos, and stuff like that. But B, knowing what to do, shop now or contact us. What is it that you want people to do? And my guess is you want to move some products, so you want people to shop. So that's kind of my spiel. You got on the editor, you got this little formatting palette up here. The tools are very similar across the top. It has a little kind of zoom out feature in the editor where you can like kind of move these things around. Like if you wanted the contact form below, you can kind of move it up or move it down. I mean, it's really intuitive, I would say, in terms of editing. So that's why I'm really pleased that we have Wix donating these coupons so we can get you behind the wheel of building some of these websites. But in order to get everyone behind the wheel, not only are you going to go through this, what I just did, and kind of pick a theme, pick a template, then we got to add our team members to it. So let me exit this, and we're going to go to the dashboard, which is under site. So we can hit exit editor, or under settings, we can go to my dashboard. This is what I refer to as the back end of the website. This is where you've got your store products. You can use this to track your inventory. And this is where you got store orders. That when someone buys something, this is the fulfillment process. And we're going to go into this next time. The first meeting, and I don't want to get get too much into it, but we're going to start setting up those settings. So poke around. Don't set up any accounts, because you might find that with the free version, like you're working on right now, just to build the site, you won't have the full capabilities. Once we get that coupon, that will unlock a lot more. So look around, but don't create any like taxes and stuff like that. But just kind of get familiar with it. But with the main, go ahead.
Sean, may I interject one quick thing before we cut them loose? One of the, we have 9 teams in our practicum, and every team is at different levels right now. Mm-hmm. Some teams are pretty, getting organized, getting used to each other, know each other. Other teams, maybe, for lack of a better word, don't have a clue what's going on. All right. So I urge the teams, this is for you to practice. Yeah, I know a lot of teams have not even come close to selecting a product yet or an idea. Some have. Mm-hmm. So this is something for you guys to begin. Once you have your product, you develop it. But today is to learn how to use it. So when your professors and I come into your individual rooms, we're going to designate in each one of the groups of a person to play with this, and just like Mr. Snyder just said. But again, do not feel bad if your team is not haven't picked your product yet. There's nothing wrong with that. We still have a ways to go. We're going to talk a lot about that on Thursday in our individual classes. But this is a time to begin to just practice and just bring it up, try to figure it out, get going on it. And don't worry about mistakes. Don't worry about getting in trouble. This is purely just to get this going and have some of your team members start to become experts in this. Other teams are a little bit farther along. So don't get intimidated by that. This is just for practice. Thanks, Sean.
And I think that's exactly why we are recording this too, because I'm going through this fast, and you're going to have to go back to it and rewatch it, or read a bunch of blog articles. Wix has a lot of good blog articles on how to do this, but absolutely. So the last thing I want to share before we get into our breakout rooms is how to then add contributors to this website, because it might be your entire group. It might just be 2 people that you guys designate to run the website. Probably up to you and depending on the professors. So under settings, this is where there's a lot of tools, but I want you to notice roles and permissions. And so if I wanted to add someone to this site, I can go up here to invite people, and then I can add myself. I can say, I don't know, Sean Snyder at laverne.edu. So I can now add, and then I will probably assign them as admin and then click send invite. Now I can just invite someone to help me work on the site. Whether that's everyone or that's just you. I mean, it depends on how you want to work this group. There's pros and cons to both strategies, quite honestly. You don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen, but this is exactly what Professor Hassey was just saying. This is a time to learn. And so without further ado, that's kind of what I wanted to focus on today. I don't want to talk at you too long. You guys can learn this stuff probably very quick. Again, we're going to have varying degrees, and we're going to come into issues like, oh, how do I do this? Well, if I did this, is it mutually exclusive to that? I mean, we're going to work together. So that's my little spiel. And I think at this point, what I want to do is kind of open up the breakout rooms, unless there's any questions before we do just that. All right. Well, I think all breakout rooms are closed. Welcome back. Hopefully everybody had a chance to connect with their groups. Now you know which group you're a part of. If you didn't before, that's step 1 in the right direction. Step 2 is kind of working on some of the areas that we're going to be focusing on next time. Again, everybody's moving at a different pace. So we're going to treat this like a learning case. So I put in the chat just some things to think about. As we get ready for the next meeting next week, we're going to be talking about more of the settings. It's really an e-commerce website. Obviously, you got the front end where you've got your message and your pictures and videos about you, all that stuff. But on the back end, you've got your merchant card processor that's basically taking money from one account and putting it into your account from your customer to you. You've got shipping to think about. Definitely look into try to keep things on probably a lower weight if you're thinking about using the website to ship, because you don't want shipping costs to cost more than the product itself, right? So My best guess is likely first class mail, if you can keep it under 13 ounces. So USPS, check out their website. Moving forward, as we take these sites live, you're gonna need a domain name. So think about that. Make sure it's not already taken. So I put in the chat, Google domains. You can go to GoDaddy, you can go to any place, but just check to make sure it's available. Just work on the content. I think that's the real thing. Depending on where you're at with your group, is kind of working together as a team. That is probably the hardest part. I think if I ask Rick and or Professor Hassey and Professor Hicks, about this, it's about teamwork, right?
Yep.
So making sure you outline those roles and responsibility. Everybody knows their kind of lane, what they're responsible for, and everybody's carrying their weight. Right? That's supposed to be the game plan.
That's supposed to be the game plan. You're right.
Any questions before I turn it back over to Mark to give us some closing words of advice or wisdom? I don't know. Any questions? I can wait in awkward silence as long as necessary.
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
We're all good. Thumbs up. Give me something, people. I'm just staring at a bunch of people looking at me like, this guy's crazy.
We're good.
I'm good.
Right. This is the new normal. We got to get used to it. So don't be afraid to get out there. Mark, you want to close us out?
Yes, thank you guys, everybody, for your attention and for your thoughts. The groups that I checked into were moving right along. So the purpose of this is to get a website up and for us to start doing some social media marketing and to gain some customers in a time when we can't go out and market to people directly. So I'm sure you'll be making lots of phone calls to friends and family. I'm sure you'll be finding some other ways to sell your product, but events don't seem to be things that we can generally get set and plan for today. If things change, we can do that, but for now, we need to focus on this. The other side of this is, look, you are working in an environment where there's no business that you go to work for that doesn't have a website. They may not have a social media campaign. They may not be the completely online site where there's no retail space or there's no customers that come to them directly, but you're going to be involved with this process in any business that you work at. We talked about plumbers, Hey, I don't care if you go to work for a plumbing place. If they're big enough, they're going to be using social media to get their name out there and to interact with all of the data that exists for them to get to the specific customer that they're looking for, their demographic, okay? I know it's a lot coming at you. I know some people feel like we're, you're drinking with a straw through a fire hose. But look, we just need to capture this information, get this thing up and running, and take advantage of it quickly while we have our 10 weeks of retail sales, or of sales, not retail sales, but sales. Okay.
Mark, I have one thing.
Yes, Rick.
For Professor Fialo's teams who were present today, I know it was a little difficult. Your professor wasn't here. Professor, I don't know if you know this, but Professor Fialo is a little bit under the weather. He's been ill. But I talked to him this afternoon, and he'll be back up to speed in a day or so. So he'll be in touch with you all. Again, Mr. Snyder, we're recording this session, and we'll make the links available to your professors so you can view the recording of this session later on. But so Professor Fialo's teams, hang in there. He'll be back with you. He's just been under the weather. Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.